Okay, a very good morning to one and all. Today is day 17. Uh, so the date is 16/9 2020. So once again, I welcome you the lecture series of electric power quality. Okay, today we are going to discuss regulating utility voltages with the distributed sources and flickers. So then what are the different types of distributed sources? Uh, so what is the use of this distributed sources? How this distributed sources will help to regulate the voltage regulation? Then how to add these distributed sources to the system? So then what are the uses of this distributed sources? So what are the different types of distributed sources we are using? So all the things we are going to discuss today. Okay, so upon that, at the same time, can also see the so what is the flicker? So how the flicker is present in the system? How to remove that flicker? What are the some mitigation techniques? So then what are the sources of the flickers? Now all the things we are going to discuss today. Okay. Okay, now see this regulation. Now see this regulating the utility voltage with the distributed sources. What are these distributed sources? What are these distributed sources? You cannot confuse this. This distributed sources is nothing but the distributed generators. Distributed sources is nothing but the distributed generators. Distributed generators. Distributed generators. Distributed generators, we can also call it as a DC, distributed generations. So at the same time you can also use it for one is the distributed generators and second one is the some storage capacitors. Capacitors is also used for regulating the voltage. In the last class, we already see the storage capacitors. What are the different types of capacitors we are using? So shunt capacitors and series capacitors, some transformers to regulate the uh, voltage levels. Now today we are going to discuss the distributed generators. What is the use of this distributed generators? Then how these distributed generators are connected to the system, how it will acts as to reduce the voltage regulation in the system. Okay, so now see this diagram. See this a simple a single line diagram. Now see this the simple line single line diagram. So now see this there is a generator, there is some generator, a distributed generator. So you know that one thing you should remember, this distributed generator is not coming under the so most of them are think that this distributed generators is nothing but we can add the some solar as well as the wind, but to regulate the voltages, to regulate the voltage levels, so these solar as well as the wind energy are not suitable because those are variable. So when you regulate the voltages, so you must want the a constant voltage levels, constantly supplying the voltage sources. So that's why we are treated it as a distributed generator. That may be of some diesel generated sets, or that may be of some gas plants, or that may be of some fossil fuel generating plants, like that, a constant voltage supplying stations. So we are assuming here wind and as well as solar, those are also comes under the distribution generators. But when you regulate the voltages, those two types of sources, nothing but the voltage, nothing but this solar cells as well as the wind energy is not suitable for adding in these cases. But nowadays technology so is helpful for so regulating the voltages by using those wind and solar also. But as we discussed in the as according to your syllabus, so as we discussed in the early 1930 on that period. Okay, so on that period there so solar and wind is there, but the technology for regulating that voltage levels by using that solar and wind is very less. So that's why on that time we are not using wind and solar for regulating these voltage levels. But nowadays we can call these wind and solar energy levels, we can treat it as a microgrids to regulate the voltage levels. Okay, you don't confuse that one. Okay, so on early days this solar and wind we are not considered as a so to regulate the voltages, but nowadays technology will helpful for these two wind and solar is also to improve the voltage regulations. So now see this generator is nothing but the so diesel generator sets are some gas plants or etc on that time, some fossil fuel based plants we are using. So in these generators, so where you can place these generators, so generally you can place this generator in the load side to regulate the voltages. So what is the meaning of regulate the voltages? That nothing but you have to maintain the voltages at a constant level. Within there is some sudden changes in the voltages, or nothing there is sudden changes in the loads on that time also, or there is a sudden interruption occurs in the system on that time also, we are maintaining the constant voltages that will leads to the voltage regulation. Remember, so improving the voltage regulation means so we can maintain the constant voltage levels at the load side also. That will goes to the voltage regulations, improvement of that voltage regulations. There is nothing on that one. You have to maintain the constant voltage levels at the load side whenever there is a sudden changes in the loads or there is any some interruptions occurs on the system. On that time also to maintain the constant. Nothing but you have what is the voltage regulation? There is a measure or there is change in between the source to the load side voltages, that we can call it as the voltage regulation. You have to maintain this as a some constant, nearly constant. What will happen? So the losses in the system is reduces, is nothing but so the z is reduces. When the z is reduces, what will happen? The source voltage is nearly equivalent to the uh, load voltage, nothing but sending end voltage is nearly equivalent to the receiving end voltage. So that will reduces the voltage regulation. If the voltage regulation is less, the losses is also less. Okay, so to maintain the this load side voltage is a constant, we are using more number of devices. Okay, some we are maintaining some capacitors, some transformers, some tap changing transformers are like that. So last class we are already discussed. So one more technique to regulate this one is the generators, to maintain the uninterrupted power supply and to maintain the constant voltage levels. We are using some generators at the load side. Okay, a distributed generation. Remember, distributed generation, that means remember distributed generation, distributed distributed generation that comes under so many categories. A small power plants small power plants is like gas plants or diesel generators are like that. Okay, some small hydel plants are also considered as a distributed generator, but that small idle plants is always not available at the load side. Remember. Okay, some so now they can consider the some solar. Okay, wind, all are comes under the so many some renewable energy, non-renewable energy sources, all are comes under this distributed generation. Remember, distributed generation means here a small generating plants. Remember, a small generating plants that is available near to the load locations, near to the load side, or near to the distribution feeder side. You can call it as a distributed generations. What is this distribution generation means here? Those are a small electric power plants, or solar plants, or wind plants, or fossil fuel plants, or hydro plants, or whatever it may be. Those type of plants will available near to the load locations, or those plants are available near to the distribution feeders. We can treat it as a distributed generations. Now in this case, what is this case? To improve the voltage regulations in 1930 on that times, we are improving the voltage regulation by using only some generators, not the renewable energy sources. We are using some fossil fuel sources, or we are using from gas stations, or using from some small diesel generator sets to improve the voltage regulations. But nowadays technology is also helpful for solar and wind also to improve the voltage regulations, because of why on that time these two are not using. So these are variable. Nothing but solar is available on the morning time, and wind is available nothing but the daytime, and wind is available at the night time. So these are the variable sources. So to improve the voltage regulation, so to require the constant sources. So that's why on that time they are treated the, or they are considered the some capacitors as well as the generators to regulate the voltages. Now this case we are see this, we are considered the some generator, in this case a load side, a motor generator says load side, or fader side, you can call it as a distribution fader side, to improve the voltage regulation. Okay, now see this point. Now see this second point. Most of the DCs installed in distribution location nothing but the near to the load locations. That's why you can call it as a distributed generators. Otherwise, you can call it as a base loads, or all other loads. So what this distributed generators will do in this distributed feeders will offer us, now see this, a load relief. Okay, for the substations and transmission facilities, but this will causes the little power quality. So this will also helpful for improving the power quality. At the same time, this will also causes for some power quality issues. No problem. What is the meaning of a little load relief? Now see this. So this is the some source here. Some source. You can see that meaning of that point. Some source VS. We can call it as a VS. So this is a VR. Some load side, some receiving side. So now, if there is a fault in the line, these are some lines. So by using this tie switch, a near remember this tie switch is nothing but on off switch is connected near to the generator, not the substation. This is the substation. This is the substation. Or this tie switch is connected near to the generator. Whenever there is a fault in the line, whenever there is a fault in the line, what will happen? So when you on the generators, so when you on this DC distributed generator, remember this DC is not the diesel generator. DC means a distributed generator. This distributed generators, one case will get the diesel generators, or some fossil fuel generators, or gas plants, what is it? Okay, distributed generators. so near to the load locations. So there's tie switch, nothing but on-off switch is also located near to the distributed generators. When we can assume that when there is a fault in the line because of some fault, means here there is any deviation or any change in the voltage and currents in the power system, you can treat it as a fault. That fault is occurred because of so many reasons. Maybe tree branches fall onto the transmission lines or distribution lines, or some short circuit problems, some open circuit problems, some lightning, more number of problems. But we can assume there is some fault in this case. What will happen at that time? What will happen if this generator under normal working conditions, the twice switch is off under normal case. So this is off. When there is a fault in the system, what will happen? So this tie switch is closed here. So in the fault case, what will happen? This tie switch is on, nothing but closed here. So this generator will supply the power to these lines. Under normal working case, these are open. Remember, under normal working case, these tie switch are open. When there is a fault in the system, so what will happen? This tie switch is on. Remember, on and off of the tie switch. So we have to done in manual and automatic. The most obvious case and best performance case and best efficiency case, we are using this automatic case. Okay, to maintain, what will happen here? So there is a fault, nothing but there is, we can open the switch, is nothing but interruption. In this case, you will get the interruption. Remember, when you open the switch, in this case, when you get the interruption, nothing but on that time, what is the interruption? You know that there is a no power. So on that case, this tie switch is can close that tie switch. So this generator will supply the some power to this feeder. So this will leads to the uninterrupted power, interrupted power. So this will help to maintain the voltage decrease. Nothing but we have to maintain the voltages, constant voltages at the receiving side, at the load side. That will that we can call it as the voltage regulation. Okay, simply. So this is the one case to maintain the constant voltage levels at the load side by using this distributed generations. So remember why on that time, so only treated the some gas plants, some diesel generator sets are treated as a distributed generators, not this solar and wind. You know that on that time, 1990s century, on that time, there is no much technology is available to store the solar as well as wind energy systems power. So there is no such type of technologies available to store that solar and wind energy. But nowadays there is some battery technologies are there to store that wind and solar energies. So whenever there is a power cut or there is a fault or interruption is occurring in the system, so by using that battery energy storage systems, we are supplying the constant voltage levels to these loads. So that will happen nowadays technology, but so 19th century on that time, so there is no much technologies available, so that's why they can use this diesel generator sets or nothing but some fossil fuel generating plants or some another types of the generators. So nowadays a DC you can treat it as a renewable and non-renewable energy sources. So the primary aim of the DC is to connect the sources near to the load locations, that we can treat it as a DGs. So this is one of the case to maintain the voltages when there is interruptions occurring in the system, or when there is a sudden amount of this is the one of the interruption case. One is the can maintain the interruption case. Then there is another so sudden change in the sudden change or increase, sudden change in or increase load. So on that time also this distributed generators will helpful for supplying the another amount of or to meet the load demand. To meet the load demand. For suppose, for example, for suppose if it is if that load is a 10.5 kilowatt, so due to some reasons there is some additional load that will increase to the 11.5 kilowatt. But you see this line is only supplying the so it can only meet the 11.5 kilowatt load only. But because of this generator is helpful for supplying the some amount of power to meet the load requirements. That way also it will helpful for regulating the power. So this much of amount, nothing but this gap, nothing but 1.5 kilowatt of power you are using, we are supplying by using this this generator. Okay, that way it can also helpful for improving the voltage regulation. You know that whenever there is a sudden increase in the load, what will happen here? There is a sudden fall of the voltages that will leads to the increase of the percentage voltage regulation. That will leads to the there is a dramatical changes of the this value Z value. So that is nothing but R plus JXL value. Okay, this is the use of the distributed generators to improve the voltage regulation. Okay, so now you can see the some advantages here. We are some advantages, some regulating the power. So load tap changes, LTC is nothing but load tap changing transformers is nothing but. So connection is usually so not only it can increases the voltage regulation, it will also helpful for power factor improvement also. Okay, now see this case. Now see this case. Now see this case. So randomly variable sources such as wind turbines and photovoltaics are unsatisfactory for the role of you can use it as a distributed generators. Voltage regulation difficulties. You know that we already discussed that. What is the reason behind it? Okay, why on that time this wind turbines and photovoltaics is nothing but the solar energy systems are not used for the voltage regulations, nothing but the voltage regulations. Now see, there is some another most important power quality issues we are going to discuss is the flicker. Flicker. Okay, you know that flicker. What is a flicker? So there is a when a human eye is able to identify some fluctuations, okay, in the some incandescent lamp or any another lamp, you can treat it as a power system flicker. So a visible brightness, okay, as visible brightness and human eye remember a flicker you can treat it when there is a power quality issue. Okay, you treat it, remember if there is a voltage sag and human eye is unable to identify, remember, and human eye remember if for suppose there is a voltage sag and human eye is unable to identify this one, this low voltages. Flicker is nothing but, so this flicker, one of the reason for attaining flicker is the low voltage levels. Okay, so an human eye, remember, an human eye is able to identify the changes or brightness in the some lamps, incandescent lamps or another types of lamps. Okay, you can treat it as a flicker. So some power system flicker is that. So how this that will happen because of the some sudden changes in the load current at the load side. So flickers is happen because of sudden changes in the load current. You know that only load is changes. So because of different types of devices will draw the different types of different amount of currents. So that's why the currency changes, the load current changes. In according with the load current, the voltage is also changes. So that change when you observe that you can treat it as a flicker, and human eye is identified by by seeing some lamps or incandescent lamps. We can treat it as a flicker. Okay. So now sometimes see this and sometimes we can flicker. The term we can call it as some voltage fluctuations. As I said, a voltage fluctuations. Voltage fluctuations are so many variations. Any deviation, we can call it as voltage fluctuations. Or voltage sag is voltage fluctuations. Some interruption is voltage fluctuations. Some voltage swell is also voltage fluctuations. Okay, sometimes we can treat it a term flickers is a voltage fluctuations. Some voltage flicker, some lightning flicker, some lamp flickers. There are some synonyms. There are some another words for flickers, a power system flickers. Remember, we can call it as a power system flicker. Remember, power system. So now see this in 1930 on the time and one scientist CP Zenes and VP Perny has developed, has drawn a curve. Now see this as drawn a some curve here. This is the curve. Some they can draw the curve by obtaining 21 groups, a group of observers. Is nothing but some people they can gather there, some people, or they can consider there some situations, some houses, and some 21 groups of observers is nothing but 21 groups of observers is nothing but different cases, 21 different cases. Nothing but some people are identifying in industry level, some people are identifying in the household levels, are like that. So they can draw this curve. So they can take the base voltage, take the base voltage. Now this curve is the US system, so 120 volts. Now this curve is the US system. So in the US they can draw on the US system of base voltage is 120 volts, but in our system the base voltage is like 415 or 230. In three phase we can consider the base voltage is 415 volts. In a single phase system we can assume the base voltage is 230 volts. So now here we are considering the base voltage as 120 volts. Now this is the US system. So now in this axis, now see this very important axis. In this axis, so if they can consider the frequency in hertz in seconds, in seconds, in seconds. Remember, in seconds. You know that 1 second is equal to 50 cycles. So nothing but it is equivalent to the 50 hertz. So that's why they can consider the frequency in seconds. Now see this, there are two curves. They are mentioned in two curves, curve 2 as well as this curve 1. So now see this, there are some visibilities. There are some allowed level of flickers. You know that in our houses, we can observe so many times, especially in rainy seasons or summer seasons, you observe these flickers. So that flickers will present in the systems in seconds or microseconds of the time. So the, nothing but that is that you can treat it as in frequency level a very considered in seconds is nothing but 1 to nothing but there is a some threshold perception is nothing but there is some identification. Now the for suppose if the light is brightness is reduces up to the some 2 or 3 seconds, there is a problem that we can treat it as some problem. Or less than 1 seconds or in the range of milliseconds, we can treat it as a more problem to cause the lights to affect the lights. Okay, now see this threshold value. Now see this. Now see this 1 hertz to the. Now see this nearly 10 hertz region. You can treat it as a threshold perception value. So for suppose there is this is the flickering range. This range you will get in the lights or some equipments. We are not treated as some more effect in the power system. This is not considerable, nothing but this is some allowable, allowed. You can treat it as some allowed. But now see this in this range, by see this in this range, threshold range in the level of 1 to 10 Hz range. You see this the curve, you see this second curve. So this is the objectionable range. This is the objectionable range. Nothing but it is maintained. The voltage changes. Now see this, the voltage changes level. So this is the percentage voltage changes level. So what is this percentage? Now you know that plus or minus 5% voltage change is allowable in our India. But in foreign countries, the plus or minus 1% or 2% is allowable. Now see this, the change is level up to the 6 to the 7%. So that is the objectionable level. So this will causes a long term flickers, that will leads to the damage of the some equipment. How that happen? Now see this. Nowadays we are using LEDs are smart equipments. Smart, not the small. That is a smart equipment or power electronic based equipment. So because of these flickers, a huge problem while considering the industry side. Not for an human, nothing but the consumer side or domestic loads, and nothing but the our lights are nothing but not affected by these flickers. But when you consider these flickers in the industry side, this will cause a huge economic loss because of there is some changes in the voltage levels in the industry, because that industry we are using PLCs, programming logic controllers, some PI controllers, some P controllers, some PID controllers, some artificial intelligence, some power electronic based inverters, all other things. There is a small changes in the voltages will leads to the wrong operation of the power electronic devices. Wrong operation. For suppose there is a, you can consider the packing industry, automatic packing industry. When there is some flicker happen, what will happen? There is a some in the automatic industry we are using some PLCs, and that PLC we are using again the power electronic devices. There is sudden changes in the voltages that will leads to the, instead of placing at one position the packing, it can pack the second one. So one is remain. So there is a huge amount of economic loss while there is because of this flickers in the industry side. Remember. So how this flicker will happen? Because of the sudden changes in the load current. How that load current is changes because of the load. Okay, so there is a huge impact in the industrial side. So especially an automation industries will face the more problem because of this flickers. Okay, you know that in automation means they are using some PLCs, programming logic controllers. In the logic controllers, we are using some power electronic devices. There is a small change in the voltage levels will leads to the nothing but turn on and off of the power electronic devices are changes. So this will impact the entire control systems. So sometimes they may burn that may they may last the entire PLCs also. So huge economic loss will happen because of these flickers in the industries. So what is this sudden changes in the load? How this sudden load is changes? So you can you are assuming that there is a sudden on and off of the load. Because of the sudden on and off of the load, there is a sudden variation in the voltage levels. That is the one case. But so that is not the primary case for causing of this flickers. Remember. So sudden changes in the load current, nothing but sudden changes in the voltage levels is nothing but when you on the load or off the load is not the primary aim for causing this cause. Okay, this case. Okay, so this so sudden changes in the load is not only the reason behind for production of the flicker. Then what is the main reason for production of the flicker? The main reasons for production of the flickers are arc furnaces. So in the we can on the arc furnaces in the load side. Okay, now we can see that cases also. Now flickers we can divide into the cyclic and non-cyclic. So cyclic flickers is the periodic voltage fluctuations, and the non-cyclic is the occasional fluctuations. Now see this waveform. This is the sinusoidal. Remember, a sinusoidal cyclic flicker. So now see this time is less than 1 second. Now see this time is less than 1 second. Less than 1 second time. So we'll get the voltages levels to the level. You can see this voltage levels. You can see this. These are the flickers. These are the flickers. You can see this in less than 1 second time. You can observe how many how is the shape is how many voltage flickers you will get this in less than 1 second. Remember, less than 1 second is nothing but the up to the 50 cycles. Less than 1 second means up to 50 cycles. Up to 50 cycles. Up to 50 cycles, you will see this. How much amount of how many number of waves that will affect this. Now see this. Now see this. Now see this. In 1 second, nothing but the 50 cycles. In 50 cycles, you will get this type of power. Okay, or you will send this type of power to the automation industry. You imagine how that devices will act. Okay. Okay, so there is a huge impact on the automation industries. Okay, now see this how to calculate this flicker. So how to calculate this flicker? Flicker can be calculated by using can percentage normal to the operating voltages. Now see this. So this flicker is independent. Remember, this flicker is independent of peak and peak to voltage and as well as the RMS voltage. Now see this. This is this peak voltage, this RMS voltage, this peak levels. This is independent of this one, this flicker. So that calculate the flicker by using this V maximum minus V minimum by V0 into 100. What is the V maximum here? So now what is the V minimum and what is the V0 voltage? So this flicker's calculation is extremely important while determining the objectionable levels. So we can observe these flickers. Now see this in the level of 0.5 to 30 Hz. So nothing but that magnitude is nothing but 1%. So it's nothing but this is the meaning. So 0.5 to 30 Hz range we can observe. So whenever we can observe the flicker and human eye, so it must be of 0.5 to 30 Hz range. So what is the magnitude level? Less than 1%, less than 1 pu, less than 1%. Sorry, it is not pu, less than 1%. The magnitude level is less than 1%. And that time we will get this. So we can observe the low voltage level. This is nothing but the low voltage level. Remember, low voltage levels. So this is the standard low voltage level. Low voltage level. So this low voltage level will get the two cases. SAG. What is the range? 0.1 to 0.9 pu. Remember, 0.1 to. What is the interruption? What is the interruption? What is the interruption? Less than 0.1 pu. Then what is the SAG case? Less than 1%. Less than 1%. less than 0.1 PQ. Now, what is the difference between the interruption and this voltage flicker cases? So the time, remember the time. The time is the difference. Okay. At the same time, how many cycles it will present? 0.5 hedges to the 30 hedges range. Now see this. See this range. Now see this. 0.5 to the now here 0.5 to the 30 hedges range. Now 10 as well as 30 hedges range. This is the uh, accepted is nothing but the range. Okay. Now sources. You see this some source. Someone is raising hand. So please wait at the end in the last 10 to 5 minutes. We'll discuss this one. So as sources of the flicker. Then what is the sources? Sources of the flicker. Remember, see the sources of the flicker. A weak load. We can a weak load is a weak load in the sense. Remember, weak load is nothing but a sudden is nothing but a lot of variations in that load. We can treat it as a weak load. So on that time, we will get the flickers. Remember, not only will get the flickers by changing the sudden load. Okay, so that will also leads to the some another problems, voltage sags and swells and all other power quality issues. But especially these flickers occur because of the electric arc furnaces, one of the main reason, and another one is the some large motor starting. You know that large motor starting will also leads to the voltage dips, but that will also causes to the flickers in the system also. Now see this, as the load increases, what will happen? Current in that line increases. This will increase the voltage drop across the line. Remember this case, voltage sag and interruption. All other power quality problems also comes in this case. Now see this important case. Depending upon the change in magnitude of the voltages and frequency occurrence. Remember, voltage and frequency. Remember, this will also an important point whether you are measuring the flicker. But in case of voltage sags and interruption cell, we are only see the magnitude and as well as time of the voltages are current. But in this flicker case, we can also consider the frequency. Okay. So in the voltage sags and swells and interruption case, most of the cases we are assuming it as a time as well as number of cycles that present in the system. Now see this here in this in this flickers, we can assume the what is the magnitude of the voltage. At the same time, you can assume the frequency range. What is that frequency range? What is that frequency range? 0.5 hertz to the 30 hertz range. But in voltage sags and cell cases, we can assume it as a number of cycles from 0.5 cycles to 30 cycles. Remember that we can treat it as a cycles. It's nothing but less than 30 cycles is less than 50 hertz. Less than 50 hertz, nothing but less than 50 cycles. Less than 50 cycles is nothing but less than 1 hertz. Less than 1 hertz range. Remember this voltage sags and then voltage sags and swell that will present less than 1 hertz hertz range. But here the frequency you can assume here 0.5 to the 30 hertz range. Okay, so this frequency is also main important point while calculating this figure. So that is the one comment. There is some another objectionable situations. So some system impedance, because of system impedance, frequencies, voltage variations, and all other things. So some sources, we know that some sources, the main source, remember, one of the main sources for producing this flicker is arc furnace. Electric arc furnace. So you remember, so that range, electric arc furnace, the flicker, the an observable range is 1 to this meltdown period is nothing but the 1 to 10 hedges. What is this meltdown period? Meltdown period, nothing but what is this arc furnace is remembered. So there are some iron scraps. There are some iron scraps. Iron scraps. You can treat it as iron scraps or iron pieces. Pieces. So this is some electric arc. So you can heat it by using the power, some electric current, some electric power heated. So at melting, so these pieces are trying to melt. So these pieces are trying to melt, and it takes some time. That period you can call it as a meltdown period. So that will ranges from the 1 to 10 hertz range. That frequencies range. So that time is depends upon how much time. If anyone asks that how much time, so that time is depends upon the how much current you are supplied to that electric arc furnace. So what is that meltdown period means here? These pieces, these iron scraps are trying to melt. On that melting, it can form the some electric bond in between this electric scraps. So that will leads to the secondary side of the transformer. This will connect it to the some transformer. Yes, this transformer. This will leads to the secondary side of the transformer. There is an increase in the voltage levels during this meltdown period. So because of that will leads to this flicker cases. So this is one case, and main important case, this one, electric arc furnaces, a main important cases. You know that. So this is one case, and you know that another flickering cases. You know that arc welding. You know that you can observe the arc welding cases also. So whenever you can, you are observing the some manufacturers like welders, like some they are some gates and some iron equipments. You can observe that electric some welding industry or some. You can observe in the roadside also. On that time, you can observe whenever they can on that electric some is nothing but is what we can call it as electric heater is nothing but an electric nothing but that one. So what will happen here? On that case, we can observe there is some flickers in that electric. I mean that case. You can also observe this real time also. So second case is the large induction motor machines. Large induction machines. So now see this. This will leads to the two causes: voltage dips or sag, and this will also leads to the flickers. So now see this graph waveform. So this is the active and reactive power while they are starting the induction motor. You know that curves. This is some active power as well as the reactive power curves. Okay, so now see this some another one more example. Some induction motor, large induction motor. So some in industrial plant you are considering the some nearly some 4 to 5 induction motors. You are considering nearly 4 to 5 induction motors. We are going to start. Okay, we are going to start. Now see this. So now this is under normal working case. Whenever we are starting induction motor, what will happen here? A dip. A dip will happen. After some normal time, so after some time we are on in this some another motor, so the dip is occurred. So this is the case when you on and off of the induction motor, when you on the induction motors repeat. So how to reduce this flicker? By large motor startups and all other things to regulate the voltage regulation at the time of the induction motor starting. There are certain circumstances. So whenever you are using this type of devices, what type of devices? So when you are trying to reduce the voltage variations while starting the next model, we are using some additional devices like some starters and some automatic starters, online starters, DOL starters, all other starters. So that will leads to the some production of the interharmonics into the system. That will leads to the some again some flickers. What is the interharmonics? Interharmonics, they are not the integer multiples of that frequencies. You know that frequency levels 1 into 50 hertz. This is the fundamental. 2 into 50 hertz. This is the fault cases. This is the fault. 3 into 50. All other things, these are the fault cases. 1 into 50 hertz is the fundamental. Now, this is the integer multiples of the voltage levels. But now, what is the interharmonics here? So, for suppose some from 50 to 70 hertz, or some 70 to some 100 hertz. These will call it as the interharmonics. So not only this some starting of the large motor will causes the interharmonics, will also leads to some cycloconverters, some cascading induction furnaces, all other devices. So how to mitigate this? Some just okay. So in the next class, okay. So there is no time. So in the next class, we are going to discuss the some mitigation techniques, how to remove the flickers in the power system. So uh, so if someone is raised the hand, so I can unmute them. I can ask that the number, who is that number? Just 1 minute is just quickly. Someone is raised that hand, who is that number? Quickly ask that doubt. So I unmuted already. Please unmute yourself and ask the doubt, please.